I'm Augustus, and I'm traveling in the United States to listen to Americans I meet and to tell them about my candidacy for the President of the U.S. in 2028. I'm here in Columbus, Ohio. I'm standing at a state house which is built in the Greek Revival style. It features a cupola rather than the dome found on many other capitals. Ohio's state motto, with God, all things are possible, in my mind means that anything is possible. Ohio is a state that believes in possibilities and is grounded in reality at the same time. Ohio is where the Wright brothers were born and is known as the birthplace of American aviation. It's also the home of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And 8 presidents so far have come from Ohio. But it isn't these claims to fame that make Ohio such a valuable state. It is Ohioans' true friendliness, strong opinions, and their focus on family that creates a state that holds a special place in the Union. This is the 38th capital of my 50 plus 1 capitals tour. My plan seems obvious and necessary to me, but for other presidential candidates, it could be considered unnecessary and maybe even a waste of time. The plan is to visit every capital in this country over the course of about 60 days, not to give motivational speeches, but to listen, to hear about how the cost of living continues to rise while paychecks don't keep pace. Housing affordability is another key issue, and of course, healthcare. It's time that we make the security of the families who are currently holding this country up on their tired shoulders the country's top priority. We're being led by people who seem to only care about the next 24 hours while we're focused on the next 24 years. They're focused on their bank accounts while you're focused on feeding your family. To lead in Ohio, you have to be honest enough to say what everyone already feels. When the people who keep our roads moving, our shelves stocked, our towns running can't even afford to put down roots in the very places they built, something is broken. It isn't about the system anymore. It's about the fact that hard work in this state used to buy you a future. Now it barely buys you a month of breathing room. To lead the whole country, you have to know the whole country, and you can't know the country from a high-flying jet, a speeding motorcade, or a gilded office in D.C. You have to visit the Old Man's Cave, admire the views along the Pacific Coast Highway, cross the mighty Mississippi, and visit the beautiful Smoky Mountains. Having lived in 7 states and visited all 50 at least once before, I think I have a glimmer of understanding of who we, the people of the United States, are. But you can never stop learning, and that's why I'm visiting each state again. And I will continue to do so both during my campaign and during my time in office. Now you might be thinking, who is this guy? As I said, I'm Augustus. I was born in New York State 65 years ago. Like you, I've spent much of my life working. I've seen presidents come and go and industries rise and fall, and I've seen as the people who actually make this country run are treated as sheep or cattle, not human beings. We've stopped looking at the person behind the work, and it's time we started seeing that human being again. You might be asking yourself, is he qualified? The Constitution says I am. You need to decide for yourself what qualified means to you. To me, for instance, being qualified means working as hard as I can to help the most people possible. Think about the people who meet in this capital or in Washington, D.C. How many of them are qualified in your eyes? How many of them are working to make your housing affordable or your prescription drugs manageable? It seems to me that many representatives have forgotten their primary requirement of their jobs, remembering who they represent. They shouldn't represent the lobbyists, they shouldn't represent their party, and they definitely should not represent the ultra rich. Your representatives and the President of the United States should represent you. Period. I stand for the people, not for corporations that treat employees like disposable parts, not for the rich and ultra rich who seem to treat the law as a suggestion, and not for the special interests who think their way is the only way. I believe in a land of freedom and opportunity, not a land where out of state interests squeeze the life out of the towns you've called home for generations. Why consider an unaffiliated, unconventional candidate like me? Maybe because you're exhausted. You're sick of having to choose between generic candidate A and generic candidate B, neither of whom has had to decide between a medical bill and a grocery run. While a vote for a candidate who isn't a member of one of the 2 major parties can be scary, isn't it scarier to have to choose between bad and worse? Choose to vote for someone who will actually work to make your lives better. Vote from compassion, not fear. I'm headed to Charleston, West Virginia next. I have 12 capitals and many miles yet to go. If you see me in your state later this year, don't just take a picture. Come over and say hello. Tell me what's on your mind. Tell me what's keeping you up at night. Tell me what you want for your children. I'm Augustus, and I'm here to listen. I'll see you in the state where you live. Columbus spet. You can tell by the beautiful Doric columns. Why are they not ionic? Because they don't have scrolls. But anyway, ear scratch, ear scratch, ear scratch, ear scratch. Okay, trying again. I have a caveat to this, though. Most things are unlikely. Housing affordability.